Hello and welcome to the beginner's landscape tutorial. Today we'll be going over some basic functionalities of the landscape tool and how to paint on it using a material. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So to begin with, we're going to want to go to our content browser, right click, and then get a new folder. We're going to name this levels, and then double click and open it up. And we're going to create a new level. We're just going to call this L_landscape. Save it. And then over on my right hand side, I have this environment light mixer tab, which allows me to create all the lights I need for the level. So just click all these. If you don't have this, I'm just going to close this out and I'll show you how to find it. It's up in the top left, window, environment light mixer, and then yours may pop out over here, or it may be in a different shape, like something like this. Either way, you can grab it right here and then stick it over next to the details. So go back to the details, and then we're going to click on the top of the directional light and shift click the volumetric cloud and put these in a new folder. We're going to rename the folder environment lighting, and then we close that up, keep these out of our viewport. And then to access the landscape feature, we're going to want to go up to the top left where it says selection mode, and then it'll be the second one, landscape, or if you want to use the hotkeys, you can hit Shift+2. Right, now that we've created this, it spawns a large green grid to show you how big your landscape will be. Over in the Manage tab, we can change the size using the section size. So if we want it smaller or larger, we can do so. I'm just gonna put it back down to the default. Or if we want a unique landscape size, like a ring or a line, we can do so. And this sections per component feature is just how detailed each chunk of the landscape will be. For now, we're just going to keep everything default. We won't add a material or any layers just yet. So we're going to hit create, and there's our first landscape. As you see, it brings us into the sculpt tab right away, and on the default feature, we can begin adding some mass to our scene. So we're just going to play around with it a little bit, add some hills, and if you come over to the right, you can see the other tools like erase. So if you just wanted to completely flatten it out, you can smooth the ground out as well. It's a little strong right now, so it almost flattened it. There's also erosion, hydro, noise, and if you want to see exactly what they do, you can hold down Control and Alt, and then it'll give you a little preview and also a description. So I'm just going to sculpt a mountain over here. But I also really like this checkered brush over here, the star one. It gives you a really nice mountain pattern. And if we hit play, then we can walk around and take a look at our landscape. So it's very basic. Like I said, I recommend you guys get into the engine and kind of mess around with the tools yourself. So before we head off, we're going to go down to the layers, and we're going to rename this sculpt underscore and then base. You can name it landscape or terrain, you name it whatever you like. I just did this, and then I locked it afterwards. So this way we can paint and mess up the terrain on our same layer. So to add a material, we're going to right click on the content browser, add a material, and we're going to rename this M_prototype_landscape. The reason for this is just it's a very bare bones material, and we're just going to call it prototype so we know that it's basic. So next we're going to right click and add a parameter. The vector parameter is the one we're going to want to use, and we're going to rename it to grass. We can then take this output node and put it into the base color, change this default value to our grass color. You tweak around with it a little bit. I probably have one saved right here. And then I'm going to save it and apply. And so now back on our landscape, what we're going to do is go to the details panel and select our landscape and come and find landscape material. If you can't find it, you can also search it up in the search bar here, landscape material, and it should be the first one. So we can drag our material over, and there we have it. We got some green texture there. Now it's the most basic material you can possibly make, but it does the job for now. And the reason it has that little shine is because of the roughness. We'll deal with that in a second, but for now we're just going to add another vector parameter, dirt, give it kind of a dirt color. Okay. And if you notice, if we try and bring the other color in, it'll delete it and overwrite the grass. So before we fix it, just want to change the roughness. And as you can see, that shine's gone on the mountain. If I lower this, you can see. If I lower it, you can see that the shine comes back. So if we want to set this the proper way, we can right click and then add a scalar parameter. And we'll just name this roughness and put the value in there and put it up to 1. Now, going back to merging these colors, we can move them around a little bit, align them, and we're going to right click landscape layer blend node. Now, as you notice, it has no inputs just yet. We can't bring any of the layers in, so what we have to do is select the layer blend and then add a layer. And instead of just having layer none, we want to rename it to layer name grass. And since we want a second one, we want to add another layer and rename this one to dirt. And then let's put our outputs into these nodes and this node into the base color. Now if we apply and go back to our landscape, you'll notice that it's black. It's because we haven't added any layer info yet. So to add this layer info, we're going to want to go back to the landscape, paint, and then if we scroll down, we can see the layers at the bottom here. And it's currently they're none. So what we're going to want to do is select this create layers from assigned materials, and it'll put those 2 in there. Right, now that we have our grass and dirt textures in, we can select it, but if we still try and paint, we get an error. This is because the other sculpting layer is locked, so we should add a paint layer. So adding the paint layer, select, and then we're gonna rename this paint underscore landscape. Now that if we do it, we see the other error where we have no layer info assigned. Now if we click this plus and add a weight blend mode, then we can see it creates this file for us, L_landscape shared asset. And then we can just rename this Li_grass. And we can do the same for dirt, weight blended layer, save it in the same spot, and then Li dirt. Great. Now that we got both of these created, we can now select our material and begin painting. We can switch between them if we'd like. I'll just paint some more grass for now. Splatter it all over, and then dirt. We can move around and then add it to the mountains. Now this is very basic, it's just a simple color or simple 2 colors, but it gets the job done for prototyping kind of a playable area. And if you ever get this bug while you're painting, it's something to do with the brush fall off. So what we can do over here is decrease the fall off to 0 and then kind of splatter it over, and that'll get rid of that pushing of the boundary. But yeah, that's as simple as you can get for a landscape. In the future, I'll have a more intermediate guide where we use textures from Quixel, and we'll probably be using some props as well, including trees, foliage, rocks, and water. For now though, hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you in the next episode.